everyone, and welcome back to another video. So this afternoon I was working on a personal project of mine featuring grapefruit, but what I am shooting today is actually not what this video is going to be about. This video is going to be about the concept of personal projects, how I go about finding inspiration and ideas for personal projects, how I go about planning them, and then what I do with the end result, what I do with the product afterwards. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So personal projects in my eyes are essentially, they can be small projects or they can be large projects, but I do them for myself. And so sometimes the project could take maybe just a couple of hours to do, and sometimes the project could be over a month long. It just kind of depends on, what personal project you're working on and sort of the scope of what you have in mind. So they can stand alone as a single personal project, or you can combine them into a series. But no matter what photography you do, whether you do travel, landscape, wildlife, portrait, I think personal projects can hold benefit for you. Alright, so as I see it, there are two main benefits to personal projects. One of which is personal projects allow you to create your own opportunities, and I'm huge on this, and I was big on this before I even entered the world of photography, because when you work on a personal project and share it, you never know who's watching, you never know who's looking, who's been following you on Instagram or YouTube or wherever you are. So I like to create and execute on a personal project that is fun for me, that interests me, but also yields benefit to another person, because that creation, that personal project could lead to a future, it could lead to a job offer, it could lead to another personal project or a future idea or something bigger. So you just never know, what one personal project could do, because I think it has so many different opportunities for you, which is why I love working on them. The second main benefit to working on personal projects, especially in photography, is it helps you practice. It helps you learn and grow and become a better photographer, which is something, I look at and work on every single day, is how I can become a better photographer. What is it that I'm missing? What is it that I could do better? And personal projects are a perfect way to do that as well. So like a few weeks ago, I posted the first stop motion I ever made. It was forming the word 2021 from marshmallows. It was pretty horrible. I mean, the lighting sucked, and I've never made a stop motion before, but just the other day, I've made probably 5 or so stop motions in between that time. And so this is another one that I created earlier this week featuring, making my lunch, which was a yogurt parfait. But not a huge difference, but I think there is a difference in how I did each of those stop motions. And so, each of those stop motions was a mini personal project that I did for myself to practice my skill and hopefully be able to create into something more that could be beneficial to someone else. So those are like the two main benefits that I see about working on personal projects. You create your own opportunities and you get to practice your skill. So when it comes to finding inspiration for personal projects, I like to find it in, a lot of times there's two places that I find it in. One is Instagram and the second is Pinterest. So if I find something that interests me, that looks fun, and something that I want to give a try, if it's Instagram, I will just bookmark it, and then if it's on Pinterest, then I will pin it to one of my boards on Pinterest. I then like to keep a physical copy of all of the things that I want to try. So in here, I literally had stop motion as a photography experiment I wanted to try, and I did that a few weeks ago, and I've continued to experiment with it. I also have splash photography, and that actually went up last Saturday, where I tried splash photography. I also have painting with light. That is something that I want to give a try, and I'm just debating on when I want to do that. If I'm going to do that maybe this week or next week, or if I'm going to do it in February, just to time it and do kind of like a Valentine's inspired painting with light. So I always like to keep like a physical copy of all of the ideas or projects that I want to give a try, and then as I kind of create them, I'll just like check them off. Alright, so once I have an idea for a personal project and I need to flesh it out some more, I like to do that on a large notebook. So these are just notebooks I get from Indigo. They're huge. They're 8.5 by 11. This is where I house everything regarding photography. So if I find a good article about, you know, photography and I'm taking notes, I take notes in here. Whenever I have a project that I want to flesh out, or I have a burst of ideas and inspiration on something, I jot everything down here because I like to keep all of my photography notes together. And this is like the third notebook that I've had in like 8 months. So I put everything regarding photography in here. So when I'm planning out a personal project, what I like to do is, you know, I'll list out any supplies that I'll need for that personal project, especially if I need to go out and buy something for it. I'll also sketch out maybe some composition ideas and the concept for it, and then I'll like quickly jot down all of the tasks kind of related to the project. And then the last thing that I do whenever I plan out my personal project is I mark it in my calendar. So I will specifically mark it in my monthly and weekly calendar, so I kind of have a rough idea of when I want to actually execute on the personal project. So after I complete a personal project, what do I do with it? I like to post a lot of like behind the scenes of working on a personal project on my Instagram stories, just as a sneak peek and a way to like connect with people. I'll also a lot of times create a dedicated post on my Instagram for that personal project, and sometimes depending on the project I'll actually create a blog post for it as well, just because I don't post all of the images on my Instagram. Sometimes I will post some of the images on Instagram and then I'll keep all of the rest onto my blog post. And sometimes I create a YouTube video out of it. It just depends on the project that I'm working on and if that is something that I think would interest you. I think there is huge value to sharing your personal project, even if it's bad, because you know that's how we learn and we grow. I have shared content that is probably super cringeworthy. I want this to be a journey. One of the changes I wanted to make with my YouTube and Instagram is document more behind the scenes, more of the journey. So you know that's what I want my Instagram to be. I want to be able to see development in my photography. So yes, I share a lot of my personal projects, even if it's cringeworthy. So some of the personal projects that I have done in the past that you might have seen is my festive food photography. That was a personal project that I did. My shaped bokeh YouTube video and blog post, I got inspired by Olympus and I created that content for that reason, and so that was a personal project that I did. My 2021 stop motion clip was a personal project. My volcanic hills photo shoot that I uploaded earlier this week was part of a personal project. My yogurt parfait stop motion was part of a personal project. I think these are all good examples of, they don't have to be super large. My volcanic hills photo shoot did take quite a bit longer than my yogurt parfait personal project, so it really varies in length and complexity. But these were all projects that, you know, started out with an idea, were fleshed out in this notebook, and executed and shared on my social media. Alright everyone, so I think I've talked long enough about personal projects and I need to clean up all of my mess from earlier today. I literally have grapefruit juice and sugar and just everything's everywhere right now. But I really do believe that personal projects are great. They are a great way to create your own opportunities, to practice your own skill. So please comment down below if you were working on a personal project and you know maybe what it is. If you like this video, please hit that like button below and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.